Historically, happy endings are not a given when it comes to films with queer ladies in them, a holdover from the censorship days that required that sapphics be killed or otherwise given a tragic ending to reinforce why gay was not okay. Today, there is no need for that anymore, but it still feels like a minefield when you decide to watch a movie. Will the ladies be allowed to have a happy ending? Look no further, because today I have 15 more for you in part 3 of my series of films that won't break your heart. Today we're starting with the critically acclaimed South Korean film The Handmaiden, which was adapted from the Sarah Waters novel Fingersmith. This film offers sumptuous cinematography with a gothic aesthetic. Suk-hee is enlisted to pose as a handmaiden for the wealthy Lady Hideko with the intention of defrauding her of her money. Only she finds herself falling for Lady Hideko, and it's mutual. Suk-hee confesses the plan, and it turns out that there is more to the story than she's been told. The two women agree to outwit the men who have conspired to take advantage of them. This is a film some love and some don't. Personally, I don't, and I made a video where I talk about it, link in the title cards. But love it or hate it, the ending is unequivocally triumphant for the two ladies. Kajillionaire also ends triumphantly for its ladies, which follows a young woman, Old Dolio, whose growth into an adult has been stunted by her emotionally absent, small-time petty criminal parents. Desperate for human connection, she initially resents Melanie, a young woman that her parents not only invite into this tight-knit family dynamic, but seem to embrace with open arms. Melanie's warm personality slowly works on Old Dolio, who finds in her someone she can connect with. This is a delightfully off-kilter film, which at times is bizarre, but it uses its offbeat humour beautifully to illustrate Old Dolio's emotional state. More of a crowd pleaser is Les Amours d'Anaïs, a film that follows the carefree, charming and hedonistic Anaïs, who, in her early 30s, flits from relationship to relationship while stalling on finishing her thesis in literature. That is until she meets the wife of her latest lover, Émilie, a well-respected author whose work has captured Anaïs's imagination. She begins to pursue Émilie, and while Émilie is initially reluctant, she finds herself falling for Anaïs as well. While it takes a while to get to that point in the storyline, a bit too long if you ask me, the chemistry between the leads is easy and believable and makes for a lovely film that I enjoyed immensely. And of course, it ends well. For a different vibe, there is the film Yes or No, a 2010 Thai film, which, if you've been enjoying the plethora of Thai web series that have been coming out of late, like Gap, Blank, or 23.5, you could well enjoy this film and its follow-up, Yes or No 2. It follows Pai, who moves into her dorm room to find that her roommate is a boyish presenting girl called Kim. They become friends, but as they get closer, the question of whether they are just friends or perhaps more begins to play on their minds. You can guess where this is going. I watched this a long time ago and thought it was a sweet enough film, although not what I would normally gravitate towards, but you may love it. Girls Like Magic is a recommendation from my comments section, so this is not one I've actually seen. By the looks of the trailer, it looks like it's a pretty low-budget affair, and honestly, those are often the ones that have the happy endings because it's probably a passion project by a queer filmmaker. It looks like it's a friend-to-lovers story about a girl called Magic who moves to LA from the UK and falls in love with a self-sabotaging lesbian. I'm guessing they end up together. It's perhaps a total crime that I haven't yet watched this next one, Bottoms, the comedy that was all the buzz last year. It's from the same makers as the queer film Shiver Baby, which also received some buzz. Here it follows two queer teens who are desperate to sleep with girls, and so in order to make that happen, they set up a girls' fight club. It leads to misadventure in getting the girls of their dreams. I've heard good things about it, so I imagine I will check it out at some point. Let me mention the following briefly. There's Something in the Water is about Alex, a woman living in a conservative Texan town who reconnects with her high school friend who has divorced her husband because she's gay, and it makes Alex reflect on her own sexuality. You can guess where this goes. Thelma, a psychological thriller about a woman who manifests supernatural powers as she deals with being attracted to a girl at her uni. Really enjoyed this one. The rightly popular film Everything Everywhere All at Once is a wild ride and one I gained new appreciation for when I recently rewatched it. I liked it so much I did a Patreon exclusive review about it recently. It centers the relationship of Evelyn, who is struggling with her daughter Joy's sexuality, and the rift this has caused between them that threatens the very fabric of reality, leading to an exhilarating romp through the multiverse. Dense and delicious, it's well worth a watch, even if the happy ending is not explicitly around the relationship between Joy and her girlfriend. When Night is Falling got nominated a few times by you in the comments about a young religious academic woman who crosses paths with an acrobat in a circus and a whole new world is opened up to her. It's got a few steamy moments in there as well. It's not for me, but you may well love it. Now, the next few movies are movies that you might call happy light. Carol is a well-beloved sapphic film based on the novel The Price of Salt about Teresa who falls for an older woman, Carol. Things are a bit more complicated, however, due to a husband and a daughter who could become collateral damage in the divorce. I feel like this is a movie that pretty much everyone has seen, so I probably don't need to say much more about it other than to say that despite the obstacles that get put in their way, the final shot of the movie suggests that there is hope for the two ladies. In a similar way, The War Widow, a 1976 teleplay about a mother and wife, Amy, whose husband is fighting on the front during World War I, is also happy light. She feels listless and uninspired with her life until by chance she meets Jenny, a modern, carefree woman who works as a photographer. Intrigued by the idea of a working woman, she helps Jenny with her photography work despite the disapproval of her mother, and from there an attraction develops that she doesn't immediately know how to name. This is a film I enjoyed a lot. It has the vibe of a stage play put to film, but within the quiet scenes an intelligent script emerges. I have linked a copy of the film in the description. A Date for Mad Mary is about Mary, a young woman who has been released from prison, and she is trying to reintegrate herself into her old life. Only her high school friends have moved on, and she finds herself frustrated and left out. When her best friend is getting married, she assumes she will be the maid of honor, but it seems less and less likely given the growing distance between them. But through the wedding preparations, Mary meets Jess, the wedding photographer, and a friendship develops. While Mary doesn't want to admit she's developing feelings for Jess at first, she ultimately realizes that her attempts to impress her former best friend are not worth it, and she's better off being authentic to who she is. I watched this one some time ago, and I thought it was fine, not at least for me, particularly noteworthy, but the ending is hopeful. Maja Ma is a film I enjoyed a great deal more, although I did have my frustrations with the film, and it led me to doing a Patreon exclusive video for that too, because my frustrations were born out of the potential I saw in the film. With a powerhouse like Madhuri Dixit in the lead as a queer woman who has suppressed this knowledge her whole life to be the archetypal good wife and mother, she is given little choice but to face her sexuality when her secret is revealed to not just her family but her whole neighborhood. This is happening just as her son is getting engaged to a traditional wealthy family. The ending is a bit ambiguous, although it is ultimately positive and uplifting. The ending to Mosquita y Mari is also somewhat ambiguous. This one follows teen Yolanda, who is studious, just as her parents want. When Mari moves into the neighborhood, she finds herself distracted, and the friendship evolves into something neither girl knows how to name, and it results in jealousy. It's been some time since I watched this, but I remember being impressed with the quiet, thoughtful coming-of-age film, and while it may not have an explicit happy ending, I do recommend. I have yet more films to cover, so be sure to be subscribed for that, and please continue to nominate films I haven't yet covered in the comments. Until next time, lady lovers.